welcome to the season 3 of the Guys Connect. The mic is hot, the guys are back. I'm happy, I'm excited for this new episode. So I have with me my co-host, PK.
Good to see everyone. Thank you. We're back here this year, and we know we're going to have a great time. Thank you. Good to see everybody.
Good. And one of our regulars, Adekunle Diamond, he said it's not good. It's Diamond. Yeah, welcome.
Thank you so much.
And of course, first time here, we have Joey. You're welcome.
Hi, everyone.
And of course, you've seen him here before. Chibox.
Thanks for having me again.
Yes.
It's going to be an awesome time.
Yes, surely. Thank you very much. Please, I want you to remember to comment. We would like to hear from you. We are back for the third season. Some of the topics we'll be talking about is very important to us, right, to men. Based on some of the feedbacks we've gotten, we would like people like to hear more in depth. They want the men to come out of the cave, talk about what really bothers men in terms of the realities we have to deal with, and just like we're talking about. So I'm excited about this topic, especially talking about why men break in silence, the weights that no man sees. Sometimes you have to deal, especially in this part of the world, you have to deal with a lot of things as men. Black task, you have to deal with people expecting you. Somebody was even making a joke that men are sometimes one of the only people that do transfers to people that did not do any job. That's a joke. But sometimes it's just the expectation that as men, some things you need to do. Even sometimes when you don't even have the capacity, it's just an expectation that is inbuilt somehow. So for me, sometimes we have a lot of men break under that weight of expectation from parents, from siblings, from even extended family, or just the society as a whole. And so it's something that I would like us to start with, because I believe it's something that we set the tone for some of the conversations we'll be having this season. So and I'd like to hear from the guys here. So for me, I'd like to start by saying, do you think some of these expectations are things that we put ourselves, or is just the reality that men have to face?
Well, I think expectation is the word, and it's been coming for almost the history of the world, the entire history of the world. Men are meant to be responsible, and society also helped in reinforcing that.
Okay.
To ensure that you should be the one. Of course, you have to provide, and you have to man up, and you have to take charge. So that thing is inbuilt in us. We also want to be responsible. But what we are finding now is that there are situations that make men, that are quite challenging for men these days. Mm-hmm. So they want to keep this macho self. Mm-hmm. And okay, I'm the provider, I'm the one in charge here. But the reality on ground sometimes is affecting that. And you don't want the people that are depending on you to see that. Yeah. You want to show up. But the reality as we speak today in our current world, 21st century, is that men are facing a lot, fighting and struggling with a lot, and they are not talking. So
somewhat they are strong. You're seeing men strong in the inside, but dying on the outside. Strong on the outside, but dying on the inside. And I think it's something that we really need to talk about. But something that always comes to my mind is this part of the world, maybe in other climes where there's a lot of conversations around equality and all that. Are they having it less demanding in terms of expectation compared to this part of the world? Where of course there's been some growing conversation around that, but still there's still that expectation that in this part of the world, as men has to be men and all that. So I'd like to hear Joey, what's your thought about that?
So there is the cultural there's a perspective to it.
Yeah.
That as a man you are expected to lead. Yeah. And with that burden of leadership comes with the weight of carrying secrets.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So there's that part of you that has been trained to, because you are leading, you must hold back some of the information that you share when it comes to the burden or the weight that you carry. Mm-hmm. So it will help to break that cultural mystery that makes men feel like they must carry it all. Yeah. Like beyond carrying it all, there is strength in being vulnerable, especially with people that you trust. So it is not being macho that makes you responsible. It is showing up healthily
I like that. I like that.
So
like
you are
that.
showing up with your best self.
Yeah.
And if you have to cry with your own circle of friends that it's safe to cry with, please do it. But that cultural
body
that's brought in that it makes me feel like they must carry it all. They must keep all the secrets. They must no. That should be demystified.
I'd like to hear Adekunle Diamond, as you say. I'd like to hear your thought.
For me, right, I think I have probably a different opinion.
Okay, that's okay.
Taking from what he says, being vulnerable. For me, even vulnerability has been abused. Even in the recent time, even there are some people that cannot confide even in their pastors. That they have seen, practical situation where you confide in your pastor and at the next church service, it is your story.
The topic of the sermon.
Do you understand? There's a church member. Do you know how painful that is? So I think this is one of the reasons why people don't even open up. And again,
sorry for cutting you a bit. Sorry, it's all that thought. You're going to go. But for me, I'm a bit concerned that because you quote and unquote your story, nobody knows the story. Well, it's an assumption that because is a reference, because the pastor may be making that. Sorry for digressing. Maybe making that calling names. May not be that coming in because if he also feels that maybe he also knows from experience that a lot of people that may be going through similar experience and feels that situation, the intention may not be to throw you out or to throw you information because it's not mentioning name.
No, so in this instance, it is confidential, especially when you have made it known that this is a confidential. Especially maybe you have friends that probably are aware of the situation, so they can easily tell.
I have a different opinion, but I get where I'm coming from.
So there are instances you can actually, come up with stories. But you don't have to give some details that will sell the person out. Because if you're telling my story, I know it is my story. Particularly when I have confided in you. So that has been happening and all of that. Then also from the cultural perspective, me personally, I've had a shift. If you, for instance, now there's a trend on Twitter recently that people are actually coming up to say like a lot of people are entitled. Someone just called you that I need urgent 50k, 20k. That's even not the problem. When you send the money, they first say Lord, see for thanks. See how annoying it is that somebody just wakes up, didn't do anything. It's just you feel so entitled, and at the end of the day, you cannot write a epistle to thank the person and say no. See, so for me, right, I don't put myself in that box again. I don't owe you anything. I don't owe you. Even if it's my immediate siblings, they know I just do it because
So you somewhat become conscious to put yourself. I won't say force, but
no, I prioritize myself. In fact, I put myself first. I have to put myself first because if anything happens to me, God forbid, life will move on. People move on. So prioritize yourself. Prioritize your family, your immediate family, which is what I'm doing. I'm not making myself vulnerable to external, outside my immediate family. So it has helped me personally. So I don't succumb to societal pressure. That's never been my thing. People see I'm a rebel,
but sometimes there'll be some elements.
So for me, that is my approach. So I really do not have things to keep in mind. If I'm not okay with you, I'll tell it to your face. I'm that confrontational. So I don't think because I don't respect
because you're a lawyer.
It's a character.
But it's a character.
Because I've learned that when you keep malice with people, at times the person might not even know why you're angry, and you're just there, bottling up issues. But for me, I'll tell you right there that bros or that I don't like what you did and all of that. If you need money from me, I won't tell you I'll think about it. No, I don't have it. I can now later, maybe upon reflection and I have abundance, now give you. So that by then I think you appreciate it more. So when you ask me for stuff, I tell you instantly.
So learning to say no is also a way of caring for yourself so that you don't,
absolutely.
You don't.
In fact, you just nailed it. Put yourself first. Say no when you can. If they are, that doesn't now mean like okay, you shouldn't care about people. But if it's the case, I'll still tell you to put yourself first. So I think if you take this approach, it will actually help us, overcome some of the societal pressure. And again, I think our culture has done more harm than good.
No, but I think it's one of the things we also still need to talk about because I think that's where, in my opinion, most of these challenges are coming from. What I'd like to hear from Chief of
let me handle. There's one of my friends, a funny guy, and I just like his approach. He will tell you though it can be overboard at times. He will tell you that why should a parent be expecting fruit of the labor from a child? And if you look at it, there are some of his arguments that I don't agree, but there are some I agree with. If you bring a child to the world, you have done your part. The child did not beg you to bring the world, but you should not put pressure on on the child that now that you are done with university, first of all you have to take care of your siblings. Me, I'm done. I played my own part. You have to be remitting.
No, I actually don't like that.
Exactly.
So for me, I think the approach is you raise the child as part of
it. Should not become a burden.
It should not be a burden for the child.
Whatever he's able to do part time, it's okay and responsible.
Exactly. So I think this should be addressed. A lot of parents need to be cautioned that they are gradually pushing their children into depression. Because at the end of the day, it comes back to them. Most of them, even in their closet, they cannot open up to some people. A lot of people are dealing with family issues that their mom is expecting a credit alert at the end of the month. Popsy is saying, okay, I want to build a house. My friend's children has done this for him. So definitely you have to also reciprocate, save, and all of that. So I think these are some of the issues that should be addressed.
Yeah, I agree with you. I can see Chief Boss, you are itching to go. I'd like to hear your thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, picking up from where it started from, I think this responsibility, if you think about it, is mostly financial, really.
Yeah.
That stresses us out.
Yeah.
And I saw something some time ago that said people always asking for urgent 2K, and you took time to work for this 2K, and somebody wants it urgently. And that was really funny, But I think it's more cultural than anything else.
Yeah.
I think it's also religious, because even if you look through scriptures, the men carried the weight. I think it was even worse in those days. Men went to war, and we do everything for life. They should appreciate us more.
But I'm sure most of our viewers are ladies. I'm sure they're going
no, really.
Update us in the comments.
Please give us our flowers now.
Because you have how many
Women's
Day, Mother's Day?
In all honesty, I don't think in the scriptures the women are unwilling to. I think it's just men that decide.
So it's still.
So let's not say we are doing because we are doing it. It's because we wanted to. There are women that fight for us.
But also you also cannot rule out the cultural background that is ingrained. Even some of the religious positions were also influenced by culture. So there's no way you can 100% rule it out.
Exactly.
Albeit there's been a lot of improvements, a lot of changes.
So that's what I'm saying. Women want to feel inclusive.
Even in this part of the world,
they want to participate.
Even now, nobody wants to be. Nobody wants to even be with a liability. Either way.
I think the truth is the pressure that comes with it that we need to address.
Yes. And it's personal.
Yeah, because you can't give what you don't have.
Exactly.
You can't start comparing somebody with some, like you spoke about parents, their wives that will compare their husbands to. Jonathan, everybody, we're all on a journey.
Yeah, absolutely.
And you need to understand and identify where that person is on their own journey. So I personally think the Western world, that men have it easier there.
Absolutely.
100%. I think I don't know where their culture evolved from, how they got to the point where they even share bills and everything. I personally don't support it. Maybe because I've been
from the old culture.
My culture from the women trying to be independent themselves. In the late 1930s, historically, the society started fighting for women rights. They were not allowed previous to that time to participate in most things, get a job. But now, so they wanted some independence. Why should I be the one at home and then you just come do what you like? And so they wanted to work, gladly so. So the men initially struggled, but when they saw that, okay, fine, we are paying the bills together, go ahead and do the work. So now, the women are enjoying it, they like it, so they feel what there's nothing right now. They are saying there's nothing a man really can do that I cannot do for myself.
Yeah. So when I started, I said strong on the outside, dying in the inside. What are those things? I know we mentioned financial, but what are those things naturally that men are dealing with that is actually killing them, but they don't say, or we can't say anything about, or maybe not can't, but usually don't say anything about? Of course, you mentioned finance, but what are those? Is there another thing that comes to mind? I think it could be a good time and thing to talk about, especially because there's always that mindset that for married couples, or even not even relationship, when your man is not saying something, or maybe you think you have done something. Remember, it may not just be you, it may just be things that they are dealing with. I saw one video, and it was deep for me, because the man he was outside looking at a particular tree or something, and for like more than an hour or so, and the wife called and said, "What are you doing?" And why are you just staring? And the guy tried to explain this tree is been like in a year, from what I can see, maybe for a particular number of years, the leaves are falling off and all that, and the way it's looking is almost as if it's going past his ability to be able to produce food. And he was so what was the guy? And the guy said, and because the guy tried to explain something, but because you are not listening, because you just feel like, what's this guy saying? Try to say that I'm seeing my days, my life going before my very eyes, and I'm not able. No, sometimes, and I saw in the video, the guy just looked at the lady and just shook his head like, and somebody commented, he said, that's the last time that lady's going to get anything from that guy. Because the only moment he tried to even for once try to explain, you just brush aside, come on, get over yourself, and that's the kind of thing that men are doing. That's why I'm acting that. What are those things that you think about that may be putting men in that position where they are dying in the inside, but they have to keep showing up as if everything is fine outside?
There's the pressure that comes from silent competition. Everybody wants to do well.
Yeah.
There are your friends and your peers that you grow up with. And if by chance or by luck their own path is brighter and better than yours, there's that silent competition to want to do well. So you are overthinking, how do I make my job better, career better, how do I earn better, so that you are in quote and there's a quote, in a better place where you can rub shoulders with them. So men struggle with that silent competition. But I think the freeing truth is we all have our own different paths. And it is the pace at which it is happening for someone is not an indication that it will happen for you. So there is the need to talk more about self-improvement and make your own path better than thinking that you have to do something to catch up with this person. That silent competition puts men under pressure that they can't, that is the counter, because talking about it will make you look like a failure. But the truth is, there should be that enlightenment that comes from knowing you can become better, even while you are treading your own path. So that silent competition is one weight that men carry.
Okay, so for me, and relating to that, I'm trying to be a bit vulnerable here. I'm speaking for myself. One of the things I've struggled with sometimes, that was actually a major challenge for me, is that I'm this kind of guy who likes to plan. So I like to have, by this time I want to do this, I want to do that, and you are saying yourself getting to those milestones, and it's not looking like it, and it subtly somehow eats me. So, and of course, growing up and maybe more recently, because you have kids that you are raising, may make you a bit more conscious about how you have to take care of yourself to ensure that you don't push yourself to the extreme and lose everything totally. So it's very important that I think it's one of the things that men deal with, where you have your life planned out, but there's a huge distance between the reality and the plan. It's one of those things. I don't know if anybody wants to say something else.
That's an internal competition.
That's what I'm saying. I'm pointing on that. Yes, it's some sort of. So there's that pressure that so causes that to put on you. There's also the pressure that you, over time, you've put on yourself. Also, it becomes something that you have to deal with.
And you were right when you spoke about silent competitions or competition amongst men, amongst peers. I mean, as someone that belongs to, I went to St. Gregory's College, so we have a very strong old boys association. So you have to come yearly to come and almost show what you've achieved over time. And I have gone to those old boys as hangouts, and almost like you have a score sheet, and I keep looking at myself and I compare, the number of people, and I'm like, okay, I'm not doing too bad because you have more people coming for Urgent 2K than the people you are going to for collaborations or anything. So, that is something that I know that gets to men.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't even show up for those old boys associations.
A lot.
They've marked their score sheets and they feel like men have been a failure.
Yeah, you don't want to.
Family reunions. And people, you hear questions like, what have you been doing with yourself? Do you understand? So some of these things we need to also, in when you're winning, you also need to be sensitive to other people around you. There's I think sometimes people that are winning think it's all about grit. It's grace most times.
Absolutely.
Do you understand? Yeah. So I think we need to be more accommodating of people that are still on their journey.
So go ahead. Because I'm someone who likes to talk about personal wholeness. You see, you need to be whole on the inside. What I can achieve with you as a friend or maybe as a mentor is to ensure that you are personally comfortable with yourself. I'm not going to allow you to be slack, not to do what you're supposed to do, but you need to gain this level of confidence and contentment about who you are, so that whatever happens out there, you're on your own journey and you're going to get there. But what they have said is so real and so true. That men struggle with this thing. They can't tell their wives midlife crises.
Exactly. Those conversations.
I was telling someone this week, right, about the house or this and that. I said, listen, I read a newspaper headline about 6 weeks ago about Dele Momodu. It's out there. Our viewers can see that he built his first house at 57. So who would have expected? Because this is Dele Momodu, ovation, politics, and everything. But then because the guy was so to purpose, you would know him more about his purpose than whether he built a house or not. If the purpose has enlarged him. So I said, guy, why don't you focus on what you are doing and focus on your purpose? Keep doing your best. You'll be known for your work. At the end of the day, who cares? Right now, he has his house. It didn't matter when he got it. And finally, Tudor Bismarck was around also earlier in the year and said, they've done a research now that really the men peak period in life is actually between 57 and 65. Wow. I said, well, so I don't want to kill myself.
Don't kill yourself.
I'm working hard. And I also have goals that I've set. But please, guys, you got to take it easy.
Okay, okay, sorry. I couldn't take that. We're running out of time. But quickly, go ahead.
Quickly, for PSR, SCPK. As pastors, how do you manage the burden people bring? There is the oath of secrecy, not sharing what.
Yes.
So you would hear from 5 different people, their heavy stories. How do you manage it? Because as a young pastor, it's hard. So how do you guys manage it?
So PK will talk more about that. He's a more senior pastor than that. So we are still in the marketplace apostles. But that's why I was trying to say earlier. But I also get where it's coming from. Because sometimes the truth is that when sometimes as a pastor you are sharing some of these things, your intention was not originally to throw out the person, because you feel like you have a case that even you are trying to solve, or you already act, and you feel like by sharing that it helps, instead of me waiting for everybody to come one after the other, by sharing that it helps you have a group solution. Sometimes that's intention, not because I just want to, but that's where you now need to be careful on how you say it, so that it doesn't become, it's not easily something misinterpreted, or easily anybody in the audience can quickly feel, he's talking about this person, because that also can make other people who would have reached out to you say, if he has done that with this person's information, you do worse with myself, but I will not bother to share. So I don't know if PK has, because you are dealing with a lot of that.
So first of all, you have to respect good privacy, and it's a privilege for them to talk to you. The fact that God put you there does not mean whether you are better. It's just that, you are there. And so respect their privacy. If you are going to say anything about them, that you're not going to be very tactical, because there's a way you can use somebody's story in a very discreet way. The person will not for that you're talking about.
I'm not even asking on you sharing.
Okay.
So how do you manage? For me, you would go back, you will cry, you will pray for them.
So
the next day, that burden.
The burden.
How do you manage?
Because it's also part of the
stay mentally healthy.
Yes, exactly. So that's why I tell people, I'll just give you one highlight. What I believe in. Every pastor needs a pastor. So you have to first know that, because it's a burden you have to deal with, and you have to always deal with, and you have to be whole, like you said. So you're able to help.
So there's also the grace and the calling. When God calls you, He gives you the grace. Like somebody sent me a message yesterday. I'm giving an example. Cried and everything, or present a very it was within the week, not yesterday. Serious. What the person said, that was a challenge. I was laughing. That everything you have said here is very manageable. Because so I see that is a grace, but it's real with the person. But this is grace we're talking about. Then finally, also you see, you have God to cry out to yourself. You pray about it. You see, Jethro advised Moses and say, when there's any issue, all right, so get the 50 to report to the 1,000, the 1,000 to report to the 10,000s, and then before it comes to you, to lead us of this group. And whatever is now difficult for you take it to God.
And so there must be a structure.
And I think you should also know your makeup. I think you're an empath. For you to, there are people feel. I can easily shed off people's burdens. The way I see life, I just would take in that story as this person needs like a mindset shift. Do you understand? I feel like because maybe I've been through it before and I've overcome it, or because I feel like no matter what the issue is, it can be solved. God solves problems. Do you understand? So, but an empath thinks deeper into the issues. Do you understand? So once you know your makeup, once you pick up any load, shed off first. Don't pile it up. Do you understand? Then I think the other part I was going to speak to was, the fact that pastors speak about, issues. Sometimes they've heard these stories 2, 3, 4, 5 times, and you think you are the only one going through it, but you don't know
exactly. That's another thing.
There are other people that are going through. So you almost would think, I'm the one he's talking about, but really, it might not even, But yes, it doesn't mean the pastor should not speak with tact, and all that. But understand that sometimes people need to learn from
the story of other people. And if you are getting close to specific, then take permission. It works now. You call the guy, is it okay to share this story? Then he allows you.
This conversation is taking a different dimension, but it's also part of it, because it's also one of the things that men struggle with. Onboarding, very important. That's very, very important. I wish we could have a second part to this, but we can never tell. We can do that. But just a quick one. I just want just to get one final word from all of us, because we have just a couple of minutes to do that. But is vulnerability a luxury that African men just can't afford?
They'll believe that being vulnerable means you're
weak.
Should be spoken of more often, so people get to know that it doesn't suggest weakness. It is actually strength to be vulnerable. It shows strength to be vulnerable. So find your own safe space and be vulnerable with the people in your safe space. Like even the Bible said, talk to each other, pray for each other that you may heal. So there is healing in being vulnerable, in talking. Bottling it up takes nobody nowhere.
I like that. Adekule?
I want to adopt.
Do you think it's a luxury?
I actually adopt what Ian said. Like you said, people you have been vulnerable with, your circle and all of that. But for me, right, I wouldn't say I belong to that school of thought holistically. But like I am, Pastor Kia said earlier. So for someone like me, I have a deep reflection. Like all this societal, this silent competition, they don't relate to me. I'm someone that actually, like, I know that there's time for everything, like Bible said. So I don't cheat. In fact, when I wake up, I don't wake up with an ambition to do something.
Up and grateful.
Like, just for me to even be alive is enough for me. Because when I look at it, I just look, okay, what am I to do? Maybe after my devotion, I get that leading. You may not just hear the voice of God, but there's that direction.
It's also part of leading.
So, and God has helped me so far from my childhood to now. I've never felt I've been in competition with anybody. I don't know if my friends are in competition with one, but because I'm contented with, like Pastor K said, I'm contented. I don't have a house here, does not mean I will not have a house. I can pay my rent, I can eat. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah,
So I don't want to.
That's the best thing.
So I think
Yeah.
this is what we should preach more.
Yes,
A lot of people now, young boys, 24, 25,
They
they want to have a Benz. They want to do all of this. They are not contented with the basics. Some of them don't even want to work. You just want to get that free money and all of that. So I think these are issues we should actually address. If we address a lot of this, then this silent competition can at least be addressed, or at least be, can contain some of these issues.
Yeah.
I think that's my
all right. Chibox?
Yeah, I think two angles. To what end do I want to be vulnerable? I mean, because sometimes the reason men don't voice out is because you finish voicing out to some people, and next thing over the course of a lifetime, they will start to use that same thing to say, is it not you that...
Sorry for cutting you, and I think at that point, I also want to... It's very important. I like to say this. I think, wives needs to learn that. You want your men to be vulnerable, but you also need to... You have a part to play in that, and vice versa, so that it doesn't become the next trigger point for the next argument. That's why you said in that, and that you've lost the person.
So for me, it's really to what end? I don't want to be vulnerable for the sake of being vulnerable. Because men are expected to do. I want to be vulnerable to an end, as in to a solution. I want a solution. So, like you said, find your tribe. People
that's very important.
Find your tribe. But I mean, to parents also, I think it's very important that they should stop paying attention to just the girl child. You know, we are building a generation where it's about the girl. These girls are going to end up marrying the guys.
It's going to mess up everything.
So you need to also train up that child properly, to be able to handle challenges in life.
I like that. PK?
Yeah, so please, those who are closest to men should encourage them to be vulnerable. Encourage them, make sure the men in your life are talking. So I'm not really talking to the men, I'm talking to you, our viewers who are close to them. And I'm sure there's a man in your life that you are close. Don't take it for granted. He is already feeling he should bear the burden. So don't add to the weight by expressing too much expectation. Most men in Africa, I don't know, some people are lazy, some people don't care, but most men I meet want to. So please go ahead and just keep supporting them to bring the best out of them.
Thank you very much. I like that. And for me, one thing I would like to say is very important that I'm okay doesn't mean I'm okay. Sometimes it's just almost like a default response. And so it's important that, and I'm speaking to men now, it's okay not to be okay. And what I mean by that when you're not okay, it's okay to let people know that you're not okay. I believe strongly when you use the word tribe. I use the word community. It's very important that you have that safe space. You call it safe space. Have a place where you let out someone you can have conversation with. Sometimes myself and people we just talk randomly. No, we don't. It's not that we even talk every time. It's not that we just want to talk. Or you have somebody. I have someone or two people that just have that conversation with, just to earn back your sanity, because there's a lot of pressure that you have to deal with. There's a work pressure, just like everybody deals with. There's a life pressure, and if you're living in a part of this world where it's almost like a dangerous spot, living in some places, you have to ensure that your mind is at the right place and you're very much connected to the right source, so that you don't blow up, and that's very important. But I know I said that I was going to find out, but there's something that popped up in my head, and it was something I wrote down. I said African men carry bricks with a smile, but behind that smile there is a storm brewing. There's a storm brewing, and that's the reality. And sometimes, so it's not everybody that you see just smiling, just going that at once you're doing. But if I will end with this, what's just one-liner, two-liner advice for men out there? Drop it. I don't know what to go first. Chibox?
I think joy and fear are two contagious things. Surround yourself with people that are joyful.
I love that. I love that.
Praying is still a form of therapy.
Interesting.
Whatever body it is, pray to God. Just talk to Him. That's Him talking. It must not be with so much vigor. Sit down and just talk to God. So please.
Not necessarily even making requests. Just talk.
Talk to God. This is heavy, and this deadline is killing me. Help me. How do I fix this? Just talk to God. Praying will be underrated. It's a form of therapy. Please enjoy it.
I like that. Molecular diamond.
Okay. In addition to what has been said, I'll just tell you, trust the process. Joy is coming. Just keep trusting.
I like that. I like that. You know what I like about him, and it's something I started learning in my 40s, in my early 40s to now, is that just Enjoy. Just sometimes you pile up so much. PK, I'd like to hear from you.
Take care of yourself.
Just
take care of yourself. Sleep when you need to, eat when you need to. Sometimes I find it really hard. My wife will bring me, have you slept? So that you are not sleeping probably is not solving the problem anyway. So sleep when you need to sleep, eat when you need to eat. Just take care of yourself.
I like that. Men, if you think you're important, if you are gone, the world will move on. So it's very important that you take care of yourself. You take care of it. People who love you as much as you can within the means that you can. And as much as possible, have healthy community, healthy friends to talk with. And above all, you always have to trust in God at the end of the day. Thank you very much, everyone, for joining this fantastic episode. We hope to see you next. Please remember to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Our special thanks to Seasons TV for giving us this wonderful studio to use for this program. And also, please remember to drop comments and ensure that you share this with people that can be part of this work. Thank you very much. Until next time, my name is Seth. See you next time.
Hi, my name is Seth Ongwemi. People call me PS. I'm excited to let you know that this is an exciting new season for us at the Guys Connect. Join me and Kyle Brimo or PK as we bring new topics, exciting topics, men-centric topics that affect men and people around them. Join us and other guys, new faces and old faces, as we discuss this exciting topic. It's going to be a very, very good time where we'll hear on topic mental health issue, relationship, money, and many other that affect men, and not just men, issues that affect even people with the ladies in their life. Please remember to join us, the Guys Connect, on YouTube and also on Instagram. Thank you very much. We look forward to hearing from you. Like, share, subscribe, and please turn on your notifications as new episode drops so that you can be one of the first people to get them. Thank you very much. See you next time.